Hello everybody, and welcome once again to the Kilohearts office on this fine and sunny winter's day in Sweden. It's what is it, 2:30, and it's kind of getting dark.
Yep.
And so we thought the best thing we could do is tuck ourselves in and enjoy a bit of a chat about video games. Because we all like video games, don't we?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Big enthusiasm all around. My name's George, as maybe you know. To my right is Per Larsson. To his right is Anders Stenberg. And to his right is Linus Berglund, who perhaps some of you have not seen on stream before. Linus works with support here at Kilohearts and also sound design, working on some cool new presets for the factory content bank and some design stuff lately as well with UX and so on. So Linus, very important guy, and so we thought we'd get in and have his very important opinions on the world of video games. And we want to hear your opinions too. It can be anything. It can be about Kilohearts or video games or the video games within the Kilohearts plugins, which we might just take a little look at on this stream. Little friendly competition perhaps. We'll see. But yeah, get your thoughts in the comments. And click like on the stream because it helps to YouTube to know that we're awesome and so on. And we'll enjoy another lovely hour hanging out together. So, who's feeling well? Who's feeling excited? We all
feeling decent, adequate.
Why did you take your costume off?
It was chafing. Is the honest answer. It was not of quality materials, and so it gave me a rash. And
copyright reasons.
No. It was mostly the mustache. It was really making my lips swell, and no one needs that. So we have titled this stream our favourite video games, and maybe that's a good place to start. Just sort of informally, we don't need to get into a major debate over it, but maybe Linus, you could start by just telling us a game you like and talking it through with us.
So right before the stream started, we said that the best game is Outer Wilds, so there's no debate to be had. So yeah, Outer Wilds is the best game, and opinions are tolerated, but that is fact. So
everyone agreed.
Yes. Yes.
What is it about Outer Wilds? I've never played it. What is it about Outer Wilds that is?
It's so good. Yeah.
It's a good game. I think it's stretching it to be like the best ever or whatever, but yeah, it's a great game.
Yeah.
It is.
What is it? What's the deal? It's like exploration and...
Yes, it's an exploration game. You fly around with a spaceship in a little solar system and do exploration and archaeology and try to figure stuff out. And it's rare in that it actually allows you to figure stuff out yourself.
Right.
And actually explore and like really makes that world your own in that sense.
It's just got a nice vibe as well.
Yeah,
so
very nice vibe. And it really incentivizes, is that the word?
Yeah,
I think so.
Anyway, exploration and this sort of completely non-linear approach to learning about the world and in the end, reaching whatever the goal is, which I do not want to sort of talk about because you should just play it. Anyone watching should try it out, and you don't need to know anything about it other than it's good. So
the less you know, the better. In fact, I would advise
definitely.
people to not look up streams and let's plays and stuff like that because it is the most spoilable game I've ever.
Yes, yes. I first heard of it because someone said it was the best game ever, and I said, "Wow, that's high praise." And then I bought it, and I didn't watch a single trailer, and then I played it, and it was good.
Yeah,
it was the best.
But don't confuse it with Outer Worlds.
No,
which is a different game, came out almost at the same time.
Yeah,
it's probably good. I'm not sure. I haven't played it, but Outer Wilds is the one you want.
And with that established, that immutable fact, I wanted to just say hi to some folks in the comments and welcome to the stream. We've got Cash Cole in the chat. We've got Isomatic, Capture Light. Hello. Faboosh, we've got Febs in the house, we've got Dash Glitch, hello, 5 Steps, welcome, Andreas R, Sign Authority, lovely, great array of cool folks, Matthias Bodean, did I miss anybody yet? Yeah, no, that looks like it. And we've got a few questions coming in already as well, which is exciting to note. Check it out. Andreas R. says, "Boo, I'm in a hospital waiting room with other people, but without headphones."
Sign language.
Hope everything's okay, Andreas, but also crank it up. Everyone can join in. Here's a question then from Matthias. What are the games that had most influence on your life/way of thinking? Like how the old Final Fantasy games handled important topics in an interesting way.
Does it count that like Counter-Strike and Battlefield and Apex Legends and whatever probably influenced my life in that I spent a bunch of time doing that instead of like useful things? So I guess that's impactful.
Formative experience.
Such a time out of your life.
Yeah. So that's
me,
one way.
For me, the first game where I felt like games are absolutely amazing was Super Mario Brothers on the NES.
Yeah. What was it about that elevated the concept for you?
I could move pixels on the screen. I think just that, like interacting with it.
Right.
It was so fast and fluent, and there were like hidden stuff, and you could like explore it. It blew me away. And then another game that I spent a lot of time with was Doom 1 and 2, and to the point of like making levels and stuff like that.
Cool.
And I played it.
I really understand that Doom, and it was a little bit before my time, honestly, but I understand that Doom has had a huge influence, particularly on the sort of sound and music in video game type people, because there was such an atmosphere and such a special vibe created through sound and music in the Doom games. Is that correct?
The later Doom games have really good sound design. The earlier ones on DOS, I guess it's alright. It has some very iconic music. It's like thrash metal, but like general MIDI thrash metal. So it's kind of campy as well, which is kind of fun.
In a way, I mean, Quake had... I'm trying to remember, was it Quake 2 that had 9 Inch Nails
Quake 1
stuff?
Yeah.
And Quake 1 had stuff from Sonic Mayhem, right? Or which is it the other way around?
I'm pretty sure Trent Reznor, which is the 9 Inch Nails guy, did the sound design and music for Quake 1.
Oh yeah, probably correct. But which one did Sonic Mayhem do? Was it Quake 2 then, I guess?
Answers in the chat.
You
can let us know.
Remember. Yeah. And then like Dash Gliss English says Mick Gordon did stuff for the newer Doom games.
Yeah. Yes.
Got it.
So not the original.
And then there was a falling out with Bethesda, and then a third person, which I don't remember the name of.
Yeah.
Actually, two people, I think.
Yeah,
for
two different.
latest.
And there
for the DLCs.
Yeah.
Like regardless of the sort of politics of that situation, I think both, if it's indeed two, which I think it was, both of those music people did a fantastic job of sort of carrying it forward, and
for sure,
like taking Mick Gordon's sound and sort of doing their own spin on it without sort of contrasting his work too much.
Speaking of the original, like Quake and a bunch of games from that era, when the CD games came along, it was kind of common to have the soundtrack as tracks on the CD. So the game was just playing tracks from the CD, so you could play it in your CD player. So the first track was the data track with the actual game, and then track 2 and forward was
how did it sound?
The data track or the
data track.
I think actually at least somewhat later CD players understood that they should skip by it. But the older ones tried to play it and just sounded like noise.
Sounds like a dial-up modem.
Yeah.
Cool.
But in general, you could just throw your CD into your CD player and play them, and you got the soundtrack.
Yeah, and I didn't hear the Quake 1 soundtrack until much later.
I mean,
because I didn't have a CD.
Reasons.
Matthias mentioned Final Fantasy, and I think I'm on record as being a Final Fantasy
Yes.
fan. And the point I'd like to make about that is that it really introduced me to the idea that video games aren't just a game; they're also a artistic statement, right? So there's story and there's integration of music and artwork, obviously, and particularly the scores by Nobuo Uematsu of the early Final Fantasy games. I just fell in love with as a kid, and I'd play the games just to listen to the music, really, and the games were fun too. But having that kind of integrated experience of seeing great art, hearing great music, getting involved in a great story, it's one of the special things about games is they're sort of even more than people used to say opera was in the 19th century. They are like a complete holistic art form, aren't they, that you can see from all angles and enjoy, whether it's audio, visual, experiential.
The Final Fantasy games really have a place in my heart. And, Final Fantasy 7 was the first one I played, which is the case for many people, I think. But then I went back through the back catalog and played the.
And Linus was explaining
SNES games, so.
like new remakes and series of remakes of old Final Fantasy games, and particularly
specifically
7 is now. Yeah, and so the series obviously is incredibly big and long, but it's also gaining a new sort of fractal life of
it's sort of it's interesting because the original Final Fantasy 7 I think has very good sort of messaging regarding sort of pro-environment stuff, but also like the idea of doing bad things for a good cause, which is something that you sort of do in the game, I think. And the new remake series, only the first game has released so far, it kind of serves itself instead and sort of loses a bit of the original message in the for the sake of doing more with itself as a sort of literal world, and that's a sort of interesting turn, I think, of gaming as a whole, sort of developing these developing the worlds further rather than the original messages you tried to convey. That's sort of just tangent.
And you were saying, Per, you played some of the even older Final Fantasy games. I touched one or two of them as well in kind of like re-released form, and don't remember that much about them. But like, are there any gems earlier in the season or in the series that you
want to look at is the one that's before Final Fantasy 7, which is Final Fantasy 3, obviously.
Right, of course.
Or Final Fantasy 6 if you're Japanese.
Yeah.
Because they skipped a few. It's complicated.
Yes.
But yeah, that quite holds up. I wouldn't say the story is as well developed as in Final Fantasy 7, but it's really nice and beautiful pixel art.
Yeah,
in a sense, almost Final Fantasy 7 is like uglier than that because it has the low poly models that just look wonky.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 7 looks terrible. I think it's the ugliest game I love.
Yes,
it is. Yeah.
With all that said, I've never finished a single Final Fantasy game because they go on for too long, and there's also like a part in the end where you just have to level up your characters to be able to defeat the final boss, and that's usually where I give up.
Right. Sure. Old systems like the SNES and Mega Drive, and you mentioned DOS, PC gaming earlier on. I guess part of the story of video games is developing through technology and through the limitations of technology. And of course, games now are very different than games 30 years ago. But Per, you've been developing a game for SNES recently, right?
NES, actually.
Is it the original 8-bit?
Yeah, the 8-bit
NES system. Okay, so what are the practical challenges of that, and how does your modern knowledge help you to overcome them, if that's not too sort of proper of a question?
I had to... so the NES console is like that 8-bit grey box, and I've been making a game for it as like a side hustle. Not much of a hustle because I will not make any money after this, but it's taking a lot of time. And to do that I had to learn like assembler and how to write games for that platform. Like that CPU is like ancient, so it can't even multiply or divide. It can only add numbers. So You have to be really careful with how you do things to be able to like make anything run at any frame rate at all.
Okay.
But it's been quite fun, and it's fun to be that close to the hardware. You know, if you do something, you know exactly how many cycles that thing will take because it's like all specified. There's no operating system, nothing else like taking your CPU cycles, no cache, no anything. So it's been quite refreshing actually to work in that environment. And it's also kind of fun that it's so limited graphically. So like whatever you do, it's gonna look like the best that's possible on that platform. Like the bar is quite low when it comes to graphics, so you're free to just do other stuff.
Yeah, because both of you have experience in the game industry, right? From before Kilohearts, you were working as programmers, developers in games. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And the experience of being on what was then the cutting edge, I guess, is different from what you're doing now, okay? But what's the situation there? What was the story? Where were you at and what were you doing? And
even the games we did back then you couldn't call them cutting edge.
Oh, okay.
They were like smaller games, but still, well, they had 3D graphics, stuff like that.
And they were for PC or for consoles or for all the above? Or?
Yeah, so we did PC games, then we did some Flash games as well. And I've also been like on the side doing like lots of 2D games and stuff like that. And I know you've been working with physics.
I worked with physics simulations, so that was not on like a specific game. We rather worked with physics middleware stuff you use for physics simulations in your game. So a bunch of other games. What is now physics, the NVIDIA stuff. It was then owned by something called Agea when I used to work at it. So yeah, it's the stuff used for making physics animations in games, basically. I used to work with that. But that was, and then I started working together with Per on more directly on games, but that was different kind of games.
Sure. And you've carried that through into your Kilohearts work by leaving special secret little games in the hosts, right? And I wonder whether we should have a quick play of them in a second. But before we do, I just wanted to check the comments and see if anyone's asking any questions.
We had a question from 5 Steps, but that was to me specifically.
Yeah,
I kind of wanted to answer it.
Yeah, so read it out, Linus. And
Yes, so from 5 Steps. Linus, you took a day off at Superbooth to play Tears of the Kingdom. How is that not your favorite game? Well, that feels sort of confrontative, because I do very much enjoy that game. And it's true, I did take a day off at Superbooth. I played Tears of the Kingdom for 20 hours straight. And I love that game. But I'm a huge fan of the Zelda series, so I will play anything they put out, honestly. But yeah, that game is very good, and it's a nice playground. And yeah, I think everything that should be said about that game has already been said by others. It's a good game. So if you haven't played it and you have the option to play it and the desire to play it, then you should play it.
Fantastic. What's the best system to play games on? The best console or the best format or the best... Is it sitting at home with a big PC or is it you've got a Steam Deck, Linus?
Yeah, I mean, considering we're developing software for computers, I think we all have computers, which sort of makes it an obvious choice, I think, to a degree. But at the same time, getting a good computer can be ridiculously expensive compared to getting something like a PS5 or whatever. So it depends on what you're interested in. I play games mostly on the Steam Deck because I have my Steam library on it that I've accumulated over my whole life, basically, at this point. Or that's not how that works. Yeah, but yeah, that's a good... I love handhelds, but I also like the Steam platform, so I go with that.
I think for me personally, as I grow older, I mean, historically, I've always played PC. I didn't really have any consoles in the 80s. We had computers early, so I've always been playing on computers in one way or another. But lately, while I still do enjoy playing games on PC, and I kind of prefer playing on computer, the accessibility of consoles is kind of important. I have a Switch as well, Nintendo Switch, and just having it available in a different way with PC, it's a lot more, okay, I'm gonna turn on my computer, go sit somewhere. The Switch, I have it in my couch, I can just grab it, play something. I can, especially as I have kids as well, you can pause anything at any point. You can just sleep the console. And I've noticed that a bunch of PC games, you can't really just pause them whenever, like in the middle of a...
Like Dark Souls.
Yeah, for example. But I mean, with multiplayer games, that's obviously you can't pause them. But even with some single-player games, it's annoying that you can't like pause mid-sentence in a cutscene or something because you have to go do something and continue later. So in that sense, the Switch is kind of neat, and probably PlayStations and Xbox, whatever, I think they can suspend as well.
Yeah.
So that's just an aspect, but I do enjoy PC gaming. I do play a lot. Right now I play in Case of the Golden Idol on PC, so that's...
Yeah, I play a lot of both PC and Switch as well. Switch because it's handheld, and PC because it's like a larger screen, and if you want to play something with the mouse, like any FPS, I think that's just horrible to play on with like a joypad. So that's the PC for me. Right now I'm playing a lot of Trackmania on the PC, and on the Switch I play mostly like platform games, Celeste a lot, and also play with my 3-year-old son. But then we mostly play Untitled Goose Game. Because you can honk. You can honk. And you can soak the gardener. Yeah, it's fun.
Terrific. Different needs for different times, different games for different controls. Wonderful. A couple more questions. What are your top games in terms of hours played? Asks Fabouche.
Yeah.
Trackmania, let's go. He also says
That would be. I should have checked that before. Like what Steam game I have the most hours on. So lately, it's been a lot of Trackmania for me, but I also played a lot of World of Warcraft when I was new. Until I realized that like this is an extra job. It wasn't fun anymore, and I stopped. Yeah.
That's one of my biggest problems with games. You may have gotten the picture already that I'm the least of a gamer in this room, probably, but I play a lot of games. The reason I don't play more is because it's such a big commitment if you want to enjoy it the most it can be enjoyed, especially with modern big games. You can't really enjoy them unless you're willing to commit 20, 30 hours a week to really sitting down and getting into them, I think. Yeah. I can't just dip into Red Dead Redemption 2 for an hour here and an hour there and, I've left it for a month and I'll come back. It doesn't work that way for me, at least. I don't know if it's the same with you guys.
I try to look for games that have like a more distilled... Like Portal is like the perfect game.
Right.
It's like high quality all the way through and it's quite short.
I like when they are like the full runtime is 20 hours or something. 20,
I stay away from Elden Ring and Zelda and stuff because I just don't have the time to play that. Sure. I don't have that much time to kill.
Well, you could, George. There are like plenty of games. Last couple of weeks I've played The Invincible, which is a space. Like it's a novel that was adapted to a game, and it's like 7 hours long.
Sure.
So that's like a 2-sitting game for me personally, because I want to sit down and get deep into it. That's like 2 evenings, game finished. American Arcadia is another one I played very recently, and that's also like 7 hours. So you don't have to play Red Dead Redemption and get burnt out on the idea of playing this really long game when you could play short games that sort of pack. It's a really packed experience, and you walk away from it really fulfilled. Whereas 7 hours in Red Dead is like you killed a couple of deer and saved
Well, this is
one
my
of your
point,
friends.
and I think like a lot of it is just comparative with my experience as a kid of playing games, because I would just sit for 18 hours at a time for 12 days in a row in the summer and just play, you know, Roller Coaster Tycoon all day and enjoy it. But it's not something that fits in the same way into my life now, and so I think I have to readjust my expectations or something.
Yeah.
But in terms of hours played, Roller Coaster Tycoon for me, and also definitely Final Fantasy VIII is up there. I played that a ton and loved it, and played it again and loved it and played it again. More recently I have spent way over 100 hours with Red Dead Redemption 2, and I'm still nowhere. Like, I feel like I'm just figuring out the controls and like just settling into the world, and you know, it's a tough one. I think there's some games that you really can devote a year of full-time work to and still not feel like you've exhausted them, and that's an amazing thing, but it's a tough thing to fit in real life, isn't it?
Yes.
I think the game I have the most hours in is probably Counter-Strike from like early 2000s. I stopped playing when CSGO came around, so the beta's up to 1.6, I think, if I recall correctly. I have no idea how many hours I have, but quite a lot. Then I played Battlefield 3 for a while, but that was just for a while, and I had like 300 hours in that. So, but Counter-Strike was for like 5-6 years or something. I played it all the time. So,
I played Overwatch a whole lot when it came out, but that also had the effect of my skill plateaued after a while, and then it's just wasn't fun anymore. It just felt like a job you had to do.
But I think old multiplayer games had a different kind of dynamic from when the automatic matchmaking, all that came along. Because early Counter-Strike, for me, it wasn't that much about like competitive skill. It was more like a sub-community. You had a couple of servers you joined, and you talked to the people you met there, and the same people came to the same servers. So it was more of a community where you hung out, and you actually also played Counter-Strike, but it was more of a extended chat room in a way. So I'm not sure that exists.
With matchmaking, you don't really notice yourself getting better either, because it always matches you with other people of the same skill level. So
it's another thing I've really noticed is that the way games work in a sort of macro sense is so different than it was when I was a kid. Because the only way you could play games when I was young was you go up the street to your friend's house who has the console, and you sit for hours playing Street Fighter or whatever. And now you can play with some kid in Korea or some kid in South Africa, and that's almost the norm, is massive online, server-based games. And again, that really doesn't compute with me. I've done it a little bit, but that's not what gaming is in my head, and yet that absolutely is what gaming is, isn't it? That's a huge part of the modern experience. And like, I see my kids playing what's it called, the thing where they drive around and play football in cars? Rocket League, thank you. Yeah, and they just love that, and they're like calling their friends who live down the street and saying, do you want to play Rocket League? And instead of wandering down and playing, they just sit there with their phone on, chatting and playing and chatting, and they can, and then some kid from Rwanda pops up and goes, hello, I'm playing too now, and it's great. But
we had to call each other with modems to play Doom, and it barely worked, so we had to actually lug the computer over to our friend's house.
That was the best though.
LAN parties is definitely something I feel the kids today are missing out on.
But I think the social aspect of these multiplayer centric games sort of makes them grow inherently, because you can just say to a friend that, yeah, we should play Fortnite, it's free, so just download it and we'll play. And you know, single player games don't have that sort of, like, you don't preach about them in the same natural way, because you do it yourself mostly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it's just a marketing reality then, that, you know, these things become more visible and therefore they become the norm.
Yeah, I think so. And like, depending on how into games you are, like for myself, I sort of filter out anything multiplayer as a noise, and what I see is just troves and troves of small single player games, because that's what I look for.
Hello, coffee machine. Nice to see you. Yes, sorry,
Yeah.
let's carry on.
No, I think I didn't have much more on that, but I should go into my my most played games by hours, because I didn't go into that yet, I think. No. So my most played games are...
Hang on, that's just in case that's really loud. There you go.
Seems to be.
Your most played games.
Yeah, I think... Are we really loud now?
No, we're good.
It's fine.
Maybe, or not.
I played, let's see, I think I have like 400 hours in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which sort of disproves my point of playing single player games. But yeah, that's a great game, and I played the older games as well. So the series in total, I probably have like thousands of hours, which is crazy. But it's also been like 20 years since I started playing those games. So like 400 hours maybe, and then Breath of the Wild, obviously like 300 hours I think I played that. And Cyberpunk 2077 has been sort of, I've played it multiple times since it sort of had a busted launch, and then it received tons of updates, and now it's great, I think. And I thought it was great in the beginning too. But yeah, so I played that. I'm on my 4th playthrough now, which means I'm at like 350 hours in.
Wow. And what really annoys me about that is, like, I don't mean it, you annoy me, I mean the thing, the concept annoys me, is that when you start to think about how many weeks of full-time work that is equal to, you go, oh no. But you know, there's other things people spend time doing. It's
fun for that amount
exactly,
of time. That's
exactly.
good.
And you know, if you think, oh, in the last 3 years I've spent 10 full-time work weeks on the, you know, that's pretty good. Some people play golf every Sunday, and they, you know, that adds up too, you know. It's all good stuff. Let's play some games, shall we? We're going to do a little round of Phase Invaders, if I can correctly... Hold on. Hello. Are we here? Are we here? Are we back? I thought I already clicked that, but apparently I didn't. Are we here? Hello. Is that working? I hope that's working. Give us many thumbs up.
No audio. How delayed
I
is the
think
chat?
that's
Maybe...
20 seconds behind. I think
That's
we're back now. I strongly believe we are back, but someone's about to tell us.
Yep.
Sorry about that.
Heck yeah.
And we did the sound check and everything.
I know.
And blessed everything with holy water.
The problem there was just I didn't have the audio switched on in this environment. But
have you tried turning it off and on again?
Yeah, I have now. So we're here. So you saw me play and I was terrible, and you saw Per play and he was brilliant, and now Anders is going to have a go and also be brilliant. Shall I bring it over to this screen for you, Anders? And then I need to switch over again, and it's going to be just fine. Don't worry, it's there. And then I close that, and then I just do. Everything's going to be fine. Nobody panic. All right. Should I press on the game?
Go.
There you go.
Not very good at this.
So who wants to explain the aspect ratio this time?
I can do it.
We've done so 3 times.
Now it's my turn.
Yeah.
So yeah, the Snap Heap and Multipass used to have a different layout with tabs rather than the sort of modulator section we have now. And so Snake, which was the only game at the time, was wide in a separate Snake tab. And Phase Invaders inherited that format, even though Faceplant never actually used that aspect ratio.
Yeah, I think it must have for a little while. before we added the modulators, like way before release. I think it actually had that layout.
That last boy.
Yeah.
Oh no!
Linus, away you go.
Need to find the.
Actually, Space Invaders was the first game I ever played, I think. We had an ABC 800, a Swedish computer created by Luxor, a Swedish TV company. And it had a Space Invaders game. It was called just Invasion. And I remember a post-it a note on the screen with the spelling of invasion so I could type it into the to start it because I was like 5 years old. So I had to. And I thought it was
I don't know how to. I don't know if I've done that before. I just learned the thing that George also learned, which is that
you
shoot the one at the edges to.
Yeah, right.
So at some point, I think we should remix this game and make it more square. Make it faster.
I don't think it needs to be faster. I think it needs to be easier.
Yeah.
Couldn't it just fill the whole
like
window?
I think if you have fewer enemies, you can have them move faster. And if it's square, they have a further to go before they get you.
Yeah, yeah.
And maybe they can shoot back as well.
Oh, no.
And maybe particle effects.
I would like a modulation output for.
Yeah, you have to get the lower ones now.
High score. Check it
Where's
out.
the-
Dash Glitched asked in the comments who set the Kilohearts high score.
I think that's just something I typed in.
Oh.
Yeah, it looks very.
Because
fake.
I wanted people to have a chance to beat it. And of course, if it was my score, they wouldn't have a chance.
I see. Terrific. I am now going to try to set up another game in another host without screwing up the stream again. So wish me luck, everyone.
Yeah, modulation output would
just
be
checking the comments there.
would be great indeed. The Snake game in Multipass has a knob you can turn for speed, which is a modulation target, so you can actually have it.
But I think we broke that at some point.
Dang it.
I don't think you can do
Oh
that.
yeah, because you can't reach you can't enter modulation mode.
But
Back in the days you
in
could
the olden days of
modulate the
Multipass.
speed. So maybe if you find a preset that has that modulated, it will still work.
Yeah.
Rare
Maybe that's for later, but let's give this one a try, shall we? I'm going to just look over there rather than try and be clever, and I'm going to start playing. I used to play this on my Nokia 3210
Yes.
instead of going to sleep.
Yep.
This is
Oh, no, CS.
a nod to one of my favorite music software. Jesus Christ.
You get to go again.
Pity round. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. I'm just hustling you. Don't worry. I'm going to start playing properly now.
Yeah.
Vibe check.
Yeah, fast.
Sorry, I'm supposed to say, does anyone want to take a bet before I admit to hustling, don't I? I'm not even good at hustling.
Oh no!
Oh,
That was lucky and unlucky at the same time.
Yeah, so this is a nod to Fast Tracker 2, like Per said, which had the nibbles. Or no, it wasn't called nibbles.
I think it was
That
called
Q-
nibbles.
Wasn't that a Q-basic?
Yes, but it was
called-
also called Nibbles in
Oh, maybe it was.
Fast Tracker 2.
Anyway.
Nice.
One of the great UIs of our age. Just a grid of buttons for like sample editor, instrument editor, saving, loading, and nibbles.
Yeah.
It also had an about screen with like an animated Starfield or something like that. Or maybe the logo. You could click the logo to sort of change it to different effects or something.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
And
Anyway, there was a Starfield and I looked at it quite a lot while playing mod music, which was the music format at the time, which is like before MP3.
Fast Tracker 2 actually played XM files.
Yes.
Which was like mod, but with
Extended
more
mod.
channels.
Oh, I missed it. Lads. Shall I
You
go
can
the long
do
way
it.
round?
Oh, we can do it.
Oh, you see. Okay. Who's next?
And next.
Here you go.
Yeah.
I think, like, to connect to games again here, I think Fast Tracker 2 was made by Triton,
Yes.
right?
I'm going to crank the speed here so get some excitement going. You actually get more points if you have a higher speed.
Really?
Yeah.
And Triton then turned into, I think, I have to remember this correctly. Was it Starbreeze and possibly what's the Finnish guys called? The one doing Alan Wake. Remedy Software.
Remedy, right? Yes.
Or maybe they're not Triton. Maybe those were from Future Crew. I don't remember. So a bunch of demo groups that also made trackers and stuff, and turned into.
Of course, Future Crew made the greatest demo of all time, Second Reality.
Yeah.
This is not going so well. Oh, quite good. Can you increase the speed for me, Anders? Let's see if I lose keyboard focus when you do that. Oh, it paused. That's great. That's comfortable.
Good thing the developers did that.
Yeah.
Wonder who did it.
Oh. Little maneuvers cost us.
Yeah, I also remember
pro.
playing this quite a lot on my Nokia phone.
No.
That was pretty impressive.
Thank you.
High bar.
The trick on the Nokia phone was that you control it with a numpad, because
Right.
the phones with buttons back in the days.
That was shit as fuck.
Yeah.
Oh,
But I could actually play it with only two
again.
buttons. If you played like 7 and 3 or something like that, you could play it without moving your fingers around, and that was its strat.
neat.
It was hard to learn that way, but once you learned it, you didn't have to move your fingers around, and you could really.
Fabouche asks in the comments, did you guys make any tracker music back in the day?
Yes, it's
yes.
awful.
Yes.
But yes, I did.
I didn't
Tell
really
us what
understand
is
like
that, first
tuning
of all?
instruments and stuff like that.
How does that work?
Tracker, that's a format from the Amiga originally, which has 4 channels of samples.
Yeah.
So, and 2 of them play in the left speaker and 2 of them play in the right speaker.
Excellent. Like the Beatles.
Yes,
Okay, yeah.
exactly.
Tremendous.
And you could pitch the samples up and down, obviously, and adjust the volume. And it sort of looks like a spreadsheet. So it's like making music with
Great stuff.
something like Excel.
Now we go.
It's very exciting.
Turn the speed down, somebody.
Yeah, I can turn it down.
It's too fast for Linus.
I'm humiliated and ashamed.
I saw someone ask about Minecraft earlier.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a game. I played that quite a lot back in the day when Marcus Persson was still developing it. It's really quite well-made game. Like, not technically, but like just like the design is really clever with how you explore and like read on a wiki to learn how to make new recipes and stuff like that.
Yeah, I never played it that much.
Something quite addictive about it.
I think for me it was kind of important, even though I never really played it. I didn't like it at first because it didn't kind of have a goal in a way, but I think it was important for me in the way that it made me open to the idea that a game doesn't really have to have an established goal like that. It's more of a sandbox.
More of a playground.
Yeah, playground thing. So even though I've played other games in sandboxed ways, I mean, there's so many games.
SimCity.
Yeah, or even like Carmageddon. I remember just running around doing stuff. What happens if I do this? What happens if I do that?
Yeah.
And that was one of the first games I played that
Wow, this is tough.
explicitly didn't have a goal.
Yeah.
I think going back to the social aspect, playing Minecraft with friends is great and seems to be sort of the primary way it's endured, maybe. Or, you got the sort of content aspect of it as well, like making people watching YouTube videos and Twitch streams or whatever.
Yeah.
Just doing things in Minecraft because there's no shortage of things you can do, and then people do this stuff with the sort of redstone mechanics, building computers inside Minecraft, and
Showboating.
stuff like that.
Yeah, it's sort of a culture touchstone. It seems like
Yeah.
for the younger generation,
Yeah, my daughter plays
something
it.
they really bond over.
Yeah, we in school we had computers like from when I was 12 years old, and when we got the computers we started using Minecraft in art class. So we got sort of art assignments in Minecraft, like doing virtual sculpting and stuff, and it was never very impressive, and we always sort of forgot to do what we were supposed to because we had Minecraft in front of us, but it was fun, and that's probably something that has. I mean, since I lived it, I'm sure it's happened elsewhere as well. Just using Minecraft as a tool in schools, because it can be that. I think that's cool.
I wonder if it has any effect on your like spatial reasoning if you play it a lot, since it's so such a gritty voxel world. You start to
maybe
see the world as little cubes after a while.
Well, it certainly hasn't helped me in that regard because my spatial awareness is terrible.
Yeah.
But maybe it would have been even worse if I hadn't played Minecraft.
I see you're doing the safe strategy of never ever pressing accelerate.
Yeah.
What is it? Oh, right, yeah, you can go around, can't you?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
But
Bad
then it's
news.
like,
Now you're going to
yeah, no, it's
so
terrible.
dead.
Yep. It's definitely
How do I
not
stop?
what you should do if you want to.
Yeah, I was happier when I was ignorant.
Yeah.
You never stop.
Yeah, man. Here we go.
I hope we're actually streaming the screen now.
Yeah, I
Otherwise-
hope so too.
Yeah, and I hope
Otherwise this
we
is-
are.
I'm having
because
a
I don't see
great
the chat
time
anymore,
playing
so who knows what's
Asteroider.
going on.
I'm keeping some sort of an eye on it
Yeah,
over here,
that's
but
great.
not since I was playing this, so we
Do
have
they
been
seem
dead
happy?
for days at this point.
Yeah.
But I'm having too much fun to worry.
Yeah, we actually planned a more involved game for Snap People. It was actually halfway done, which actually was a 3D 2.5D maybe.
Oh, come on then.
I think someone found some assets we forgot.
I think that was 5 steps.
Yeah.
He DM'd me
Did some
with a picture
data mining.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to scrap it. It grew too complicated. And instead I made this in 2 days, I think.
Oh, it feels like I did a bad idea there.
And I wanted it to feel like this was the first video game ever made. By someone that didn't really understand what they had done.
Oh,
I think we're not gonna all play this
And that's
one.
why I got like, yeah. We got on the tabulate at least for the highest scores.
Wow.
that feels good.
Yep.
Anyone else want to go?
I'm good.
Yeah, I'm also good.
Show us how it's
decidedly-
done, and I'll check the comments.
Maybe there are more questions for us.
Exactly.
I can play while we speak.
So,
It's actually kind of easier for me to speak when I'm doing something with my hands.
Really?
Nice, yeah. Otherwise I get all tongue-tangulated.
man, this looks like a very realistic simulation of working in space.
Yes.
AD 4K.
This is the new Bethesda Starfield game.
Yeah, I'm gonna mine these asteroids for
An early
sweet
version.
minerals.
Petition to remake Phaseplant in Minecraft. So it's AD 4K.
Yeah, go ahead. Have fun.
When people make like a made Doom in Minecraft, like
Yeah.
what are they actually doing? Because surely that's not like possible in vanilla Minecraft to make like a screen that displays anything. Or...
I don't know if you can do scripting or I'm pretty sure you can do scripting outside of like redstone scripting.
Yeah, so it's
you can
more like
do
a-
more actual programming, I think.
Bunch of nice comments, not too many questions. So if you have any pressing questions, get them in the chat right away, folks, and we will answer them before we log off. Someone did make Doom in Minecraft, says Febs. how did they do it? So what's
Is
the
that like
what's
a
the story
redstone
then?
thing, or is it like a mod that just displays Doom?
Yeah, can you make like a display where every block has like different states that are different colors, and then you make a sort of huge grid of blocks that can be moved around, and I guess if you can make a functioning display in Minecraft,
Yeah.
then you should then anything goes. I
Yes.
guess.
But I mean, it
But
must
that's-
also be able to evaluate it at some kind of speed.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think the redstone logic can run that fast, but I don't know.
No, but maybe you could have like a gun and something that does something at some sort of frame rate that resembles Doom. I don't know. I have no idea.
Command blocks. There's something called command blocks. I guess you put the script in the command block.
Right. Well,
Is
that's
it-
cheating.
What do engineers guess at things about
Yes.
Minecraft?
Yeah, if there's other facts you want us to guess about.
Yeah.
Not related to games per se, says Fabouche TM.
Yeah.
But how does the waveform rendering work in the sample editor? Tried doing one myself, and it's just horribly slow.
It just
Sort of graphics, isn't it?
It just does the thing really straightforwardly. It just does what you think it does. It loops over the whole sample. And for each pixel, it figures out, if you're zoomed out, it figures out what is the maximum sample value and the minimum sample value in this range of samples for this column of pixels. And then it draws a vertical line of that size.
The actual line filler is a bit special, though.
Yes, and
It's,
also looping over the samples. It's all of that is quite heavily optimized with SSC instructions,
Yeah.
which is amazing how fast it is. You can drop a gigabyte-sized sample into it, and it's like actually runs at a reasonable frame rate, and you can zoom in and out. And that's kind of amazing to me that it actually.
Yeah,
Whenever
it's
it
cool.
redraws it, just loops over the entire sample and checks every sample value, and it's still like relatively fast.
But filling the screen was the slow part.
Yeah,
So
it doesn't do that with vector graphics. It actually draws one column at a time.
Yeah.
Like on the
Or actually like 4 columns at a time, because
Yes.
it does it with SIMD.
yes. So
Awesome.
yeah,
There's your answer. AD4K asks, can you make a massive game pack preset that shows us how to make those cool retro sounds you have in old SNES games, etc.? There are already some kind of 8-bitty and sort of chiptuney presets in Faceplant, right?
Yep.
So first thing to do is search the preset browser for all the keywords. But yeah, content banks relating to games, I think, are slightly underrepresented. I think
Yeah.
it would be cool to do some more. We have the cheat code pack by Pegboard Nerds. Thank
That's
you.
sort of like inspired by
Yeah.
classic
Yeah.
games.
Mhm.
More
it would be cool
easier.
with a like true ship.
Yeah.
I've done some things with that, just making, like I made the Tetris theme inside of a Faceplant preset. But it's all sort of, you said SNES, but that's sample based.
Yeah.
So that's just doing things with low resolution samples. You could even import samples from anything and
Yeah,
just,
the hard part I
Yeah.
think is to make the samples sound bad enough.
yeah,
As Dash Glitch suggests, put Bitcrush on the master.
Yeah.
That's my answer to everything. It's a good idea.
Yes.
There is a tool, I don't remember the name of it, which makes this story less interesting, but there is a tool that's kind of popular for generating short, glitchy sound effects for games, basically. I'm trying to remember the name. I think it's like SFX something.
Yeah, and I think I've used it to just press randomize.
Yeah, you
until-
you have some parameters you can change, but you can also randomize it, and it's great for like jump sounds and stuff. Would be interesting to do something like that in Faceplant just for fun.
Yep.
It should be possible to replicate.
Other
Excellent.
than that, I think square waves with really fast arpeggios is the
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
to go.
And those sort of step triangle waves. I
Yeah.
don't know if we have one in the
Yeah,
wave
like
table.
quantized triangle.
Yeah,
wave.
quantized triangle. So it's a
Yeah, that's
certain
the-
number of steps that gets you that NES sound.
Yeah.
So going back a generation from the SNES, but other than that, just and like arpeggio specifically, but also just it's sort of sound design by arrangement in the way that you use pitch and like PWM to sort of synthesize sounds as they are needed because of the limited voice count
Yeah.
on the whole board. You only have like 4 voices. Or you got 2 pulse waves, a triangle wave,
And
noise, and PCM
Yeah.
thing. And most games don't use the PCM
Do
sound
you have
oscillator.
do you have 2 square waves? or
Yes, yes.
Yep.
Okay.
And you just have to use them for whatever you need in that moment. So you might use the triangle wave to make a bass drum, but then it does a bass line as well.
Yeah, you try to like interleave 2 channels onto 1 channel.
Yeah.
Basically.
And so doing that is as a preset is sort of difficult because you cannot really.
No.
The way you get the NES sound is by sort of allocating these very limited resources and
Absolutely.
using them.
It's more
So
a
limit-
compositional issue than a
Yeah.
Yeah.
And,
sound design issue, right?
For the 16-bit era, when you had samples, you still had like a quite low amount of channels, usually 4.
Yeah.
So even then, you had to like pack a lot of punch into one sample. So you have these samples that are chords or orchestra hits and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And it's quite common to hear music from that era where you have a sample that's like a major chord stab, and they play the melody with that, and it sounds kind of unique.
Pitched orchestra hits.
Yes,
The best.
Yeah.
Earlier on, Febs gave me a tip in the chat that I could switch from top chat, summary of the chat, to full live chat, and I did. And so a bunch more chats have popped up, including a couple of related ones. Not gaming related, says Febs, but is there any new snap-in going to be out soon on the roadmap? And Lord XFX asks, any big plans for Phaseplant coming up? Just before we finish, maybe we have a little second to discuss, if we want, whether there's anything on the roadmap, anything coming up.
I know Linus has been working on a new snap-in.
Yes,
Have you, Linus?
I don't know what I'm allowed to say. What can we
Nothing
say?
true. Other than that,
Lie.
So we're working on 2 snap-ins that sort of complement each other, I guess. Yeah, should I just say what they are? What can we do?
I think we said so, or have we?
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, go
I'm
for it.
putting
Alright.
Linus on the spot here.
Yeah.
I think we've already
Say as
told
much as
people
you
about
feel
it.
it's necessary.
Okay, well, I will just say what we're doing then.
Yeah.
So we're making 2 wave shaper snap-ins, basically. One classic sort of node-based wave shaper that is similar to how you draw LFOs and stuff currently. And then a separate wavetable wave shaper that we use existing and new wavetables and anything you throw at it to do the same sort of thing, the typical wave shaper remap sort of stuff. So yeah, those 2 exist and we're working on them. We're polishing the design currently. They are in some state of like being functional, and we will get them out when they're ready.
Yeah.
Watch this space is
Yeah,
the
watch
phrase.
this
isn't
Yeah.
it?
space.
Yeah.
Dash Glitch says they haven't been announced, so we'll see if I get a call from our
Yes.
marketing guy afterwards.
Yeah,
right.
What?
But
What
I
are
guess
you
now
doing?
they have been announced.
If this comes out in the music media, we will fiercely deny it.
Yeah.
So
Yes.
just so you all know.
This is all AI generated. So
Yeah,
Exactly. I saw this thing. Someone posted it on Slack. It was a prosthetic, like silicon finger you can wear if you're a burglar or something, so that any security footage looks AI generated.
Works every time.
Modern solutions to modern problems.
Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's coming. Isn't
It's
it?
coming.
And probably before tomorrow. No, I'm kidding. But it'll be sometime soon.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not in time for Christmas.
No,
That much we can promise.
Yes.
Yeah.
no. So find something else to give your loved ones, but you can look forward to it for their birthday, maybe.
Regarding faceplant, maybe there's one other thing we could say, because there was a question about that. I don't know if Anders wants to go into that. Depends.
I don't know what we're talking about.
Well, it's the thing that you've been working on a bit, and I'm
yeah, the curve editing.
Yeah.
We've updated a bunch of things regarding how curves are made and edited. So there's going to be a bit more control over them. They're going to be editable in the small, what do you call them? The modulator editors at the bottom. And yeah, I'm not going to say too much, but they're going to be a bit different and going to be cool.
And they're going to be available in this wave shaper that we're making.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yes.
What a time to be alive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. With that, I think it's probably time to sign off and let you all know this is probably the last live stream of the year. So thanks very much for watching and joining in, and we'll be back in 2024 with lots more of this kind of thing, because we've, I think, broadly enjoyed it, haven't we?
Yeah,
And
sure.
we're looking forward to telling you about all of these new things once they're out, and asking you what you want to see next and all that kind of junk. So thanks once again, and we'll see you all again soon. Any final thoughts from the panel here?
Really?
No.
Games are fun.
Games are fun.
Play Outer Wilds.
2 games.
Play Outer Wilds.
Yes.
Excellent. Have a good winter solstice, everyone.
Oh,
we'll
my
see
hand
you
is-
soon.
There's my hand.
And now I have to find the button to press to say goodbye.
Yes.
Bye. It's over
Try the
there.
red
Here it is.